sing together was started in the hymn book on hymn number 244. It came upon a midnight clear. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit. If you're joining us online, you can find the lyrics to the carol posted in the chat.
Good evening. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation on this Christmas Eve. I am Reverend Sarah Lewis, the Director of Community and Faith Development, and I use she, her pronouns. Leading this service with me this evening are our minister, Reverend Mary Gear, and Troy Fisher, Music Director. Here at OUUC, we envision an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We are grateful for the many hands that helped make the service meaningful this evening, and we're very glad that you have chosen to be here this evening in whatever way you have arrived. Everyone is welcome. After, if you are in person, please plan to join us for fellowship, cookies, and hot beverages in the Commons after the service. For those online, we'll offer breakout rooms for fellowship after the service. This is our traditional candlelight service, so for those online, I invite you to find a candle so we can light them together later when we all sing Silent Night. For those on site, you should have picked up a candle on your way into the sanctuary, and if you need one, you can get one or raise your hand and an usher will bring one to you. Let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for this Christmas Eve service. Welcome, everyone. It is good to be together. In recognition of our connection to Unitarian Universalists, past, present, and future, we light a chalice, the light and warmth of the flame held in the cup of welcome and hospitality. Our chalice lighting words are adapted from Fellow Sojourners by Dan Lambert. We gather together on this Christmas Eve as fellow sojourners looking for light, for hope, for peace, and for love. We gather as people from many backgrounds, many faiths, many cultures, and many spiritual paths. As we light this chalice, we gather as one body, seeking in this night the message to all of humanity. Its message is that there is light, there is hope, there is peace, there is love. This evening, we light the final Advent candle with these words from Reverend Erica Hewitt. For each of the last 4 Sundays, we've lit candles on the Advent wreath. Each light was a step into the darkness toward the turning of the year, leaning into expectation, into all that is being born in us at this holy time of the year, with the unknown lies before us, rich with possibility. And tonight we light the Advent candles for the last time this year.
We light the candle of hope for that which is best in us to rise and enliven our souls and our relationships. The second candle we light for peace, for the courage to soften what is rigid in our hearts, to find the soft spot and stay with it. We light the third candle in the name of joy, joy in the shape of gratitude for all that is our life, and joy in expectation of the world that we are building and creating with one another. The last candle is lit in the name of love as the creating force in our lives. And finally, we light the central candle, the light that shines in the darkness with the full power of our faith. We know, says Reverend Bill Sinkford, how real the brokenness of the world is, but we will not give brokenness the last word. May this light bear our hopes, as well as our faith in love, in goodness, in compassion, in justice. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness shall not overpower it.
Let's sing together again, hymn number 246, O Little Town of Bethlehem. I invite you to rise. If you're joining us online, you can find the words posted in the chat.
Above thy deep
Our opening words for this Christmas Eve are from A Meditation on Winter Celebrations by Elizabeth M. Strong. We are in the midst of a season of celebrations. Celebrations of the birth of new hope, of the festival of lights, of the triumph of freedom. In the darkness of the year, it is lifting, and the time of light grows longer. We have gathered with an anticipation of hope for peace on earth and in our homes. We have gathered in this season of celebration seeking comfort to soften the pain and losses of our lives that we've suffered in the fast retreating year. We have gathered to worship joyfully within this season of celebrations with the tenderness and love of family and friends and community around us. Let us be embraced by the strength and power of this sacred space that we each bring as we create this beloved community. Let joy and sorrow join in the fullness of our living. Let the power and strength that we embody join us together as we move through the season of celebration into a new year with a new vision of hope for peace on earth. Come, let us celebrate together.
Let's sing together again. The hymn number is hymn number 231. 231, Angels We Have Heard on High. And I invite you to rise. Let's sing together. And online you can find the lyrics to the carol. Hymn number 231.
This reading is from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verses 1 through 7, from the Good News translation of the Christian Bible. At that time, Emperor Augustus ordered a census to be taken throughout the Roman Empire. When this first census took place, Quirinius was the governor of Syria. Everyone then went to register himself, each to his own hometown. Joseph went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to the town of Bethlehem in Judea, the birthplace of King David. Joseph went there because he was a descendant of David. He went to register with Mary, who was promised in marriage to him. She was pregnant, and while they were in Bethlehem, the time came for her to have her baby. She gave birth to her first son, wrapped him in cloths, and laid him in a manger. There was no room for them to stay in the inn.
Our story tonight is written by Reverend Mary, with thanks to Lynn Gardner and Gwen Matthews. On this night, we tell the ancient story of a baby born more than 2,000 years ago. This story takes place in a stable, which we might also call a barn, a place where animals live. Animals like chickens, cows, and pigs. Just imagine for a moment this stable so long ago. Imagine the sounds of all the animals that were in the stable. Can you help me to create the sounds of the stable? There were some chickens in the stable. Oh. A lot of chickens, okay. There were cows. And there were pigs. And all of these animals were there together in the barn. Can you imagine how noisy and crowded this stable may have been so long ago? All right, let's also unmute the folks online so they can hear each other as well. Everyone just pick one animal that you're going to be for the sound effect for the rest of the story, and you can come in on that animal. So, into this noisy and crowded stable came a young couple, Joseph and Mary and their baby who was just about to be born. They had taken a long journey from their home in Nazareth to Bethlehem on a donkey. So now the donkey joined the animals in the barn. Can I hear a donkey? So the donkey joined the chickens, the cows, and the pigs. And Mary and Joseph were far, far away from home, and Bethlehem was overcrowded with people. There were no hospitals in those days where babies could be born, but this young couple was blessed with generosity. They were offered space in the stable to rest until their baby was born. It wasn't fancy, but it was warm and safe in the barn with the animals. And there they rested with the chickens, with the cows, with the pigs, and don't forget the donkey. It is said that when Jesus was born, his tiny body was wrapped up in a cloth to keep him warm. He was laid down on straw in a trough that was used to feed the animals, called a manger. Jesus shared his first night with the creatures in the barnyard. They helped warm the little baby and his parents on a cold winter night long ago. Meanwhile, out in the fields, there were shepherds watching over the sheep. Thank you. It is said that angels came to the shepherds, announcing that a child was born. Now, I'm guessing that shepherds don't always feel important, especially when they are out in the fields at night. But on that night, the angels came and sang, and the shepherds felt hope, hearing about the birth of this little baby. And they also remembered that they each were precious on that holy night. So some sheep joined in. Joined in with the chickens, the cows, the pigs, and the donkey. Now, far away, wise ones heard of a new star that rose in the night sky. Some said that the star told of the birth of a baby who would bring a message of peace to the world. They traveled on horseback to find this baby and honored Jesus and his parents with gifts there in that crowded and noisy stable. So the horses joined the animals in the barn. Horses. They joined the chickens, the cows, the pigs, the donkey, and the sheep. In that barn, that holy night, Jesus was held and rocked and snuggled and fed and sung to, and there was a blessing of love and wonder. All the people and the animals gathered around a new baby, caring for him and for one another, resting in amazing love. As the people and animals rested, it became quiet in the barn. Not totally silent, but quiet. The chickens quieted. Can we make quiet chicken noises? And the cows quieted. and the pigs quieted. Even the donkey was quiet, and the sheep, and the horses. On this night, we remember that each night a child is born is a holy night. And with each child, there is a possibility of a better world. This happens when we remember that we are all connected, when we remember that each of us matters. On this night and on all nights, may we be kind and brave and loving, and may we spread peace and joy in our world. May everyone find refuge this night. Thank you.
Ever. Best animal sounds. This is a season of generosity. Tonight we offer to each other the gift of our presence as we build the light of community. We take an offering now to shine our light beyond these walls as we live out our mission of an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We join together in service to something greater than ourselves, and in the process of transforming the world, we transform ourselves. The offering collected this evening will support the Minister's Benevolence Fund. With this fund, all of us here, including me, are able to help those who request it, people connected to our congregation and others in the community who ask for help. These past few months, we've helped prevent an eviction, helped with car repairs, and helped with a driver's license renewal. There are so many stories. Together, we can do so much more than any one of us alone. Thank you for your generosity. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
That spring becomes the rose every load.
Long, long before Jesus was born in that barn in Bethlehem, there was another miracle of refuge and of light. The ancient city of Jerusalem had the most sacred place for the Jewish people, a temple on a hill in the oldest part of the city. It was where the Jewish people gathered to worship and to pray, where they sought refuge on their holiest days. But when the ancient Greeks invaded Jerusalem, the Greek king declared that the Jewish religion was against the law, and his troops took over the temple, destroying the Jewish symbols and replacing them with statues of their gods. This sacred place of refuge was called the Second Temple, because the first temple, built centuries before, had been totally destroyed by a different invading army. It took the Jews 100 years to build the Second Temple, replacing this most holy place in Jerusalem. The Jewish people were no strangers to occupation, war, and oppression. Would they have to rebuild once again? The ancient Jews rose up against the invading Greeks and fought for 2 years to regain control of their sacred refuge, their temple. And they won. The building, their temple refuge, still stood. But when they entered the temple, the ancient Jews began the process of reclaiming their sacred space. They cleaned and rebuilt, replacing the Greek symbols with the sacred symbols of Judaism. They rebuilt the altar and replaced the menorah, the symbol of knowledge and creation meant to always burn in the temple. It was meant to be an eternal flame. The ancient Jews planned to rededicate the temple by lighting the menorah, but they found only 1 jar of oil, just enough for the menorah to burn brightly for 1 night. They lit the lamp anyway and sent a messenger to find more pure oil. But it took 8 days for the messenger to return. In the meantime, the oil in the lamp burned the entire time. The oil, enough for 1 night, burned for 8 nights. It was a miracle of light. Ancient priests named this miracle Hanukkah, which means dedication. Some call this celebration the Festival of Lights. Today, this holiday reminds Jews to rededicate themselves to keeping alive the flame of the Jewish religion, culture, and peoplehood, so that it may be passed on to generations to come. In this time, may we rededicate ourselves to the right for all people to practice their religion. And in this season of darkness, may we be open to the miracles all around us as we celebrate the wonder of light.
This evening, we have gathered here in the refuge of this sacred space in the company of each other. And now let us prepare to share the light. For those online, we will invite you to turn on your camera, light your candle, and hold it so that we can see it on the screen. For those on site here, in a moment we will pass the light to each of you as we sing Silent Night. If you do not have a candle to use, please raise your hand and the ushers will bring you one. Anyone need a candle? On this night of all nights, we are grateful for the miracle of the light, the return of the sunlight, the oil that burned for 8 nights, the light of life and love that was born so long ago and is reborn in each of us. We will begin the light at the end of each row, and then please pass the light to the person next to you. A little tip, this works better if we take the unlit candle and tilt it into the lit candle. This prevents hot wax dripping. Please look around and help anyone near you who may need a hand as we spread the light.
Night has fallen. Stars beckon in an indigo sky. Somewhere a baby is being born. Tonight, the world lazes in a love of goodness while glories stream from heaven afar. The holy is meeting us tonight, right where we are. So be not afraid. There is room at the inn for everyone. We wish you each and all a blessed solstice, a happy Hanukkah, and a very Merry Christmas. May we go in peace.